Hey guys, 2024 was a great year for me with watching some TV shows. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about what I watched, what I liked, what I didn't. So maybe you can find a show that you want to watch. Let's do this. Star Wars Acolyte is basically a former Padawan has to reunite with her former teacher to go and solve the mystery of who is unaliving some Jedi Masters and why. And along the way, they discover a mysterious Sith, and we get some fan service with a couple cameos that make no sense. But we also get to see a Wookiee Jedi, which is always really cool, but it was ultimately wasted because he doesn't make it through the show. And we really don't get to spend a lot of time with it. And that's the problem, I think the bigger problem with this show, is that we're thrown into it kind of expecting to have some sort of connection with these characters that we just don't have, because there's not a lot of material on this time frame, the High Republic era of Star Wars, that I've read. So I don't really know anything about it. So I have no connection to these characters, and it just feels weird. It's Star Wars martial arts, which sounds cool, but it is kind of underwhelming at the end of the day. The lightsaber fights are cool, as always, but there again, there have been a lot better that have been done. I really wish that Disney had gotten this right, because I was really looking forward to this. This was the first time that we were supposed to get a story from the Sith perspective. And we kind of started to get that, but then it ended and we're not going to get a second season because people didn't like it so much. And that's fine. We can just let this lie. But I don't necessarily think that the concept is bad. And that I do think that there are people that are going to like this. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. It just doesn't work for me. Well, that's the Acolyte. So now let's talk about From. Okay, this is a show that is on MGM Plus, and I really fell in love with this show. I watched the 3 seasons that are out. I watched the first 2 leading up to the run of the 3rd season and watched it all the way through. This show has me hooked. I mean, it's the story of some people that get stuck in this mysterious town, that there's monsters and, for lack of a better word, ghosts. I'm not really sure exactly what everything is, but that's something that this show is really good at doing, is giving you a lot of questions and showing you some really cool stuff. It's gory, it is horror when it needs to be, it's drama when it needs to be, and it is also incredibly slow and stingy on giving out answers to these questions. But it is an entertaining show. The cast is fantastic. Harold Panoy Boyd in the show gets plenty of scenes to sit there and just chew up this script. And he does a really good job in a lot of them. Even if I'm not always liking his character and what's going on with him, I like watching this actor. But one I like even better than Harold is Avery Conrad as Sarah. She is probably the most underrated thing in this show. She has a lot of personality, and the acting that she does with her face and her body language is just crazy good. You really feel what she is feeling and can understand the conflict that is in her. And I really enjoy seeing that. So good job to From. I think that this is a really good show. If you're a fan of Lost, you're going to love it. It's the same creative team. Harold Panoy Boyd, he was in Lost as well. It can be a little slow from time because, like I said, it builds up a lot. But whenever the show is going for it, it nails it. And I just wish it would get a little bit quicker with giving us some answers to this and moving the story further a little bit quicker. Well, that's From, and I highly recommend it. It can be gory. You are dealing with some monsters, and it's not afraid to go there. Be warned. Next is a show that really kind of caught me off guard, because it's not typically the style of movie that I watch, and that is Outer Range. This was on Amazon Prime. It's Josh Brolin and several other really good actors. Outer Range is not like a show that I normally like. It does a great job of telling a compelling story that is sci-fi, but it's in like this Wyoming ranch style story at the same time too. So it's kind of like sci-fi and western, but contemporary, and it's very intriguing. The directing is really cool in it as well. The sci-fi element is really cool. There's this hole in the ground on Josh Brolin's property. A neighbor rancher knows about it and wants the hole because there's this element that comes out of it, or this mineral that comes out of it, and it has all kinds of weird effects, hallucinations, visions, healing, making people stronger. It's different for everybody, but there's a lot of potential for this. But it's also a portal through time. So this is the sci-fi part. So I can't go too much into this or it kind of ruins some of the story, but it handles time travel in a very cool way, and I really like it. It's not going to get a third season because it's just too expensive for them to make, apparently, is what they're saying. But it is, the 2 seasons we got are worth the watch, but just be prepared that you're not going to get that many questions answered. But it is a very entertaining watch. Next on the list is Agatha All Along. Now, I was pretty sure I was going to enjoy this show. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. It takes the WandaVision, how it was sitcoms, and it changes the premise from sitcoms to more like stage Broadway musical type thing, but there's only really one song, and it's not like these big musical numbers. There are a couple times that happens, and the song's not bad. So Catherine Hahn does a great job in this. It does a great job of introducing the character of Wiccan, and Aubrey Plaza, the twist in that, you could see coming a mile away, but it was still done well, and she is good in this role, but it is, Aubrey Plaza. It's very much a role that she was kind of meant to play, I think. It's right up her wheelhouse. But yeah, Agatha All Along, a lot of fun. Give it a shot. There again, this isn't for everybody. If you liked WandaVision, it is a good sequel spinoff to that. Definitely enjoyed it. Think it's worth the watch, especially for a comic book fan that likes Wiccan. I think this is a good story, but you probably already watched it. Even if you're not a comic book fan, it's a very good, just fun Halloween season movie to watch. That's Agatha All Along. Okay, my favorite show of the year was Dune Prophecy. I fell in love with this show, but Prophecy is set some 10,000, almost 10,200 years before the movies that we just got. And it's about the rise of the Bene Gesserits, how they came to power, what their plan was, and we get a lot of the lore to this world that I hadn't been exposed to. The directing's good. I enjoyed the acting. It's got a very Game of Thrones style feel to it, but not overly Game of Thronesy. but just kind of got a hint of that in there in the structure, since you're dealing with families and genealogy and stuff like that in this show. There's a really cool whodunit, the power struggle between Travis Fimmell's character and the Bene Gesserits, Mother Superior, is entertaining to watch. All the backstabbing, all the political intrigue, the history that we get about why thinking machines aren't allowed is the Great Robot War, and we get a lot of cool stuff about that because it leads to stuff in the future, and I can't wait for season 2 of this show to come out. I don't know when that's going to be, but it is that Dune type sci-fi. If you liked the movies, I think you're gonna like this. If you like that heady sci-fi that's kind of deep in the world building, this goes here and this goes here type thing, this helps fill in some of that for those movies. So yeah, that's a must-watch on my list for 2024. Well, that was the list for live-action shows that I watched this year. Let me know if you've seen any of them, or if any of these are something that you would like to check out. I look forward to hearing from you. If you would, take a second to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.